All right, now we are on to our lighting steps. So now we are going to set up the lighting in this house for an evening scene. So there is a step in the pre-production of like scanning out the area and stuff, but I know this area, it's my house. But I do know that we're gonna have the subject sit here in this chair. This is gonna be where it's gonna take place. I want the camera, can this move? Yes. All right, I'm gonna take that down because I don't want that in the picture, or in the image. But, yeah, but I want the camera sitting like right there, looking at him this way. And so we need to set up the scene. One thing that I need to do though is to make sure that we're setting up lighting good is I need to put my mannequin head there. I know, it's creepy and weird, but I have to do it. So first off, what I'd like to do, and what I usually do, is I sit in the chair to make sure I can tell where my head goes. It's roughly, the mannequin head should sit in between, like, there's these two little things there. So, it needs to just sit on the chair like that. Okay, so I use this to set this head up quite often. That's usually what I do. And so, yeah, I'm sure you really care to know that. So, all right, okay, we finally, after some difficulty, have our mannequin head up. Now, it's not exact to where I have the guy's head, but it's close enough. Yeah, close enough. So, when setting up our lighting, we need to think about, oh, hi, Loki. But we need to think about where the sun's gonna be, and what is motivating our light, which is mainly, especially in the evening, gonna be our sun. So right now, the sun is like right here. But in the evening, the sun is always over there. And so then we have to think about, okay, windows, like we're not gonna be having light coming through these windows because it's the evening. That doesn't make sense. We could, if like we cannot get it to work with sunlight coming this way, we could do that and just like completely flip the house imaginatively. We could completely flip the house, but I want to try my best not to do that. The windows are going to be annoying though, because they cast a buttload of light. So we might want to have the blind shut there. Like all blinds shut, and that even still brings light in, so that acts as a good backlight. So yeah, this still works. So we also, and you can't see this, but we have a kitchen window over here, and it works to have it come that way, but then we'd be shifting the sun a little bit, but I think that's fine. I think that will work and be just fine. So for the sun, we're gonna set up one of my bigger lights for that. And yeah, so the sun technically would be that way, but we're gonna kind of shift it over a little bit, which that works because if you don't see the whole house and you don't know which direction is which, it should be fine to say, oh, the house is just pointed that way. But you always want to have motivated lighting. You never want the lighting to just be, oh, it's here now. Even when I make YouTube videos and stuff, I still have that be motivated lighting I don't have it just be lighting. I did a really random video on that. I think it's out by now? I don't know, because I recorded it yesterday, so I have no idea where it's at. But where it will be at. So, yeah. So we have our LED panel here. Okay, so the window is actually very tall over there. So we're gonna need to match it as much as possible. If the sun's coming downward, well, it's actually probably like level with the window. So our light, we may wanna raise it a little bit, but it should be good there and then still pointed down slightly. Since it's evening, we're gonna add more of an orangey feel to the light. This light for sure. These lights though, depending on, because the way that the house is situated, the sun would not get here. But since we're shifting the sun, we may want to have another small newer light there, acting as a different light that's more yellow, but it's like really dimmed. Yeah, I'll probably do that to add some flair to it. So yeah, biggest thing with lighting is to have motivated lighting, making sure that the lighting makes sense, and then once it does make sense, make sure that it looks good and even and stuff. So we want to add a lot of orange in there because it's evening, but to brighten it up, we gotta add white. So if you can tell here, it actually is doing quite a bit. When it's off, it's like completely blue in here. And then it's not. Okay, so I'm gonna turn down both of those. Still make sure that it's, yeah, that's adding a lot. Oh yeah, that is so great. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. Okay, I think that's pretty well set. See, I don't have the most expensive lights either, so these are tinted a tiny bit blue. Even when it's like turns on yellow, it's still hit towards a little more blue. So yeah, so we have that one set, and the shadows, it's because of how far back it is from our subject, it's pretty soft shadows, but I still think we need a light over here. So for sure the sun would not be coming through these windows, but we could have a light that's coming through. We have a window clear over there that could be letting light all the way out here, which I don't think it probably wouldn't, but it could. And so if it can, then we're gonna let it. Except, yeah, we'll do big newer lens for that one. It's gonna be like clear back over by the where I'm recording right now. That's gonna be our, like, right here is gonna be our backlight. But because of how far away the window is, the light's just gonna be like right there. Yeah, so basically, lighting wise, what you're wanting to do is just set it up as naturally as possible, but then brighten up the subject enough to fit that time of day and then the tone of the thing that you want. All right, so we're moving that out of the frame of that because it'll mess up this recording. So it should still be fine. Yeah. All right, so look at that difference. I may turn it still down, but check out that difference. Without and width. And width. It adds a good fill light right there. There is one problem, and is that there's this shadow under there that I don't really like a lot. But I'm thinking the way that it's set up, that shadow would probably be fine, but I don't love it. Mister, I'm gonna need one of those. See, the lighting setup now is actually pretty good and decent, like looking at this mannequin head, but we could, do we want to add like this light is on too, or not? What? You want this? This is our only other actor in this. Yeah, it doesn't do too much. So I think it's pretty much like pretty okay where it is. And then the windows act as a really great backlight. See, that this is something to always remember, is that there is natural lighting sources too, which I should probably play around with this, see if it adds. Oh, I like that actually. Just to add a bit of light, except these lights hum though, which I don't like. But I like, yeah, I like that. I like that. It adds more flavor to that image. So a lot of setting up lights and stuff is kind of playing around with it. But not only playing around, but also making sure that the lighting is motivated in some way. And it's always better to show like, oh, that light is coming from that window. But for our purposes here, I only wanted that one shot. And so we won't like establish that it's coming from those windows. But it also shows, it gives the people a sense of direction, because the light is coming from this direction here. And so, because the light is going from that direction, you can look and see in the windows that the light is not coming from the windows, it's coming from that way, and you can tell that it's evening, meaning that that is east. No. Yeah, I know directions. Wait a minute. I don't know. But important things to remember with lighting is make sure it's motivated, but then it's kind of just playing around and figuring out where it looks good. I like where it's at now, and of course it won't look the exact same on me as I sit there, but it gets a good general idea. And something else that I mentioned that I forgot, but I remember, was to play around with your practical lights. Like the window lights, I already know are not going to look good. But, actually I need to flip this in that way. But, this practical light actually added a really nice forehead light there that I really like. So this is a well-lit scene that still has shadows, because you don't want it to be like a completely bright face. That's not natural. But because there's always shadows. And so having shadows on there really helps push that forward. So we now have our lighting set up and we are ready to move on to